Hey everybody, this is Eric Johnson. Hey, listen, really exciting stuff going on. Really interesting stuff going on. I'm not going to comment today on the GPS location story. To me, it's just a story. I don't see any substance to it. I mean, someone says someone knew that the finder was going to post on medium.com, and since there's somebody that knew that was going to happen, knew that, we just take someone's word for it, then they must know where the real location was, and so everybody runs with it because of something was posted about it, and there was a video, and it was ludicrous. I mean, in my personal opinion, it was just, the whole thing was ridiculous. The solve was ridiculous. The location was ridiculous. Brawn sniffing dogs is ridiculous. All of it was ridiculous. I mean, at times I almost felt like the people in it knew what they were doing. It was almost like a parody, but then nobody broke the scene to let you know that they were all in on it. So I guess people were supposed to take it for real. But some things have happened since then that I thought I'd comment on. And of course, the videos today are not even about that. They're about Barb Andersen. But that whole thing with the finder posting the medium.com story originally, and then responding apparently on the Thor forum about this video that was put out, supposedly listing a location that the finder had something to do with. That prompted someone calling themselves the finder to put out their response to that. So I thought it was important to bring that up. So I'm trying to tie together a few different things here. We had the medium.com story. The medium.com story comes out, and the finder gives this essentially a eulogy to Forrest Fenn. He says he's the finder, etc. We all know that story. A lot of people don't think that is the finder who made the medium.com story, but something very unusual happened in that, unusual in some people's opinion from a legal standpoint, in that the Fenn family on the Santa Fe Trading Company website, right next to a announcement that many people think Shiloh made about the end of the chase, they posted a link to the story on medium.com and essentially said, this is a wonderful story written by the finder, who we assume they know who the finder is, because this is supposedly the finder that found the treasure that Forrest Fenn alluded to when he says the treasure has been found by the finder, the man from back east, the shy man, all of that. When they put the link to the medium.com story on the old Santa Fe Trading Company, do I have that correct? I hope I do. Old Santa Fe Trading Company, correct? And then you have the Collected Works bookstore. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know what I'm doing here. Anyway, when they put that link on there, one or two people said to me, I'm thinking it ended up being two, but the bottom line is they said, well, now they have officially endorsed, more or less, the finder by putting a link to that medium.com story on the Santa Fe Trading Company webpage right next to their announcement. Well, now that's all gone. I got up this morning, I had text messages from people. They took the message, Blackbeard had put it on there. Said they took the links away to everything, and they did. And Troy Barlow had wondered whether the family who he thought knew about those, he thought they knew the theory about the fact that it was probably not too smart to have that link on there. So he was saying, well, yeah, I mean, it kind of makes you wonder what they were thinking. Well, whatever they were thinking, those links are now gone. If you're wondering what all this has to do with Barbara Andersen, it's because Barbara Andersen is the one person out there who is actually doing something, legally speaking, trying to figure out what's going on with this treasure hunt with the end of the chase. I don't know why people are still so hung up on the solves, okay? I'm still getting people sending me, they'll say, well, Eric, I know that you don't want to see our solves or my solve, but it's really good, and if you could just take a second, and it'll be like 5, 6, 7 emails about their solve, and I'm like, I can't read all this stuff, folks. I'm telling you, besides the solve ones, then there's other ones. And I have a very tiny channel. I have said this before. If I had a big channel, I'd probably hire a secretary. I don't know what I would do. Or an associate, administrative associate, is that what they still call them? AAs. Just one second. So, first of all, most of you know, well, first of all, let me finish my point about Barbara Andersen. Barbara Andersen still has a case in court. She wants to do a plea soon. She is still, but the case stands here. The Forrest Fenn died, of course. Forrest Fenn's counsel for handling the lawsuit with Miss Andersen was a guy named Summers and Associates. I don't remember the associates. Well, they're no longer involved because Forrest Fenn, their client, died. So Miss Andersen is saying, look, we need to get a new representative from the Forrest Fenn estate in here to continue on with this case. The judge is now at the point where he's saying, look, we really need something more to run on before we continue on. And we need to have more evidence to keep this case going. You know what her story is. Her solve got hacked. The person who hacked her solve found the treasure. Forrest Fenn was implicated because he knows the person, she thinks, who hacked her and found the solve, the treasure chest. So therefore, she was going after Forrest Fenn. Since the finder is anonymous, she was saying to Forrest Fenn, you need to tell me who the finder is because he stole my solve and he got the treasure that I should have. That's the premise of the court case, right? But it's all conjecture. She has no real proof. This is my opinion only. I'm not a lawyer. If Barbara Andersen watches this and she wants to chime in and correct me or enlighten us as to what's going on, I'm being very, very serious, and I'm not kidding about this in any way. If you want to help us understand what's going on with your trial, please do. Although I'm sure since it's still ongoing, you're probably going to not want to comment. But anyway, that's where the case stands now. She wants to plead in the future. She wants the Forrest Fenn estate to get another counsel in there to handle her complaint, and she's ready to go do that. And there's a reason it's important about the Medium.com story, and it's important that the Forrest Fenn family on the old Santa Fe Trading Company website put the link to the Medium.com story, because that, to me, was kind of an endorsement of the finder. They said right on it, and I'll post a picture of it. They said right on it, which it's all gone now. But they said this is a wonderful tribute or something like that. This is a wonderful story that was posted by the finder about Forrest Fenn. That kind of potentially, perhaps legally, once again, my opinion only, I'm not a lawyer, but once again, legally, perhaps involves the Fenn estate back into this Andersen case, because she can point to that link and say, look, they're admitting that the finder does exist, that the Medium.com story is real, because they've endorsed it. They've actually put it on a website that they have. And so therefore, I want to do what? I don't know. Subpoena people, get depositions from the Forrest Fenn family, maybe from Shiloh. People said Shiloh was the one who did the announcement. All I know is right now, from what I can understand, this is not being handled very intelligently, in my opinion, by the Fenn estate. Because I don't know what the reason for them even putting that link on their page accomplished for them. A lot of people don't think the finder exists. A lot of people think Forrest Fenn retrieved the chest himself. I know this is a little far out, but could that whole finder thing have been contrived just to create the illusion that there was a finder? And the story was written by someone that knows the Fenn estate or written by someone else? Is it simply a prank? And then we have someone saying, well, I know a guy that he must know the finder because he knew the finder was going to put out that story. And lo and behold, the story came out, so there's another guy who must know who the finder is for him to know the finder was going to put the story on medium.com, and that guy told me about the real location, and then a video is made of the real location and stuff. It's just so smarmy. I mean, unfortunately, I love that word, and people make fun of me for using it. It's an old word, but smarmy, you know, it just stinks. It's like all of this just seems like a bunch of opportunist people taking advantage of the situation. Now that Fenn is gone, Fenn was kind of an arbiter. He was the one that knew the secret. He was an old guy. He didn't suffer fools gladly. And he kept a lid on the way this whole thing has been handled, right? I mean, the kooks and the people with the crazy ideas have always been there. They're always going to be there. Treasure hunting, I mean, it's the oldest thing in the book. Treasure hunters are by nature kind of a crazy bunch. I include myself in that. But there are degrees of craziness, and some of them are really far out there. And it just seems like with Forrest Fenn gone now, and of course Peggy, rest in peace, gone now, that it's become a little unhinged, and people are taking advantage of it. I wanted to just say something about a couple of things that have come up with certain people. And this is not a put down to you, but it's just an observation I had today. I'm talking about people who believe in divining rods. I'm talking about people who believe in divining rod. I'm talking about people who believe in divining rods or who believe in Ouija boards, things of that nature. I'll just use Ouija boards as an example. Ouija boards, some people think you can speak to the dead with Ouija boards. You can speak to spirit world. If that were true, if that were real, think about this. If Ouija boards worked, or if divining rods worked, in reality, not saying they're real, but you're kind of winking, like real if you kind of believe in my idea of real. No, I'm talking about if they were real, if they worked. Keeping in mind there has never been any controlled experiment where divining rods or Ouija boards were ever proven to work. You can never repeat results. I mean, okay, someone walks across the field and the things go across and they find a pipe underneath and they go, oh, see, it works. Then they take them to a different field. Does it still work? No, it doesn't. They take them to another field. Does it still? No. That's how they prove things scientifically. And guess what? Divining rods and Ouija boards do not work. They're not real. They don't exist in the real world. They exist in your imagination. Things happen and you construe an anomaly to prove that they work in all cases, which they don't. Think about this, and this was my point. If Ouija boards worked, everybody would have one. Everybody would have a Ouija board in their family, probably in a very prominent spot, and they would go use it to speak to their spirit family members, right? Right? If they worked, if they were real, They wouldn't be like party things you bring out every once in a while. They would be real, honest to God things that you use to talk to your dead mom. Hey, today I'm going to talk to Mom. Oh, you getting out the Ouija board? Yeah. Okay, well, have fun. Tell her I said hi. Okay. In the real world, if they really worked, that's what would be happening. Same thing with divining rods. If divining rods really worked, you would just have a, we want to see if the spirit's in the room or where the spirit is in the, same thing. Everybody would have divining rods and they would go find spirits, or everyone would have divining rods if they wanted to go find water. If it was a real thing in the reality we're all experiencing. The reason that isn't happening is because they are not real. They don't really work. Think about that. Just Ouija board is the best example. If they really existed, we'd all have one and use them like telephone lines to talk to our dead relatives. So when I see people that are, some of them that have actually been on TV and done documentaries and stuff, and you find out that they use divining rods and all of this, you just realize, my God, this has been going on for so long. I mean, it's just a group of people who are just not to be believed, and they're getting away with suckering a lot of gullible people. And unfortunately, in the treasure search, there are a lot of gullible people. I'm sorry. Because right now, for me, what's not really important at all is finding out, let me rephrase that. I want to know, as much as anybody, the real location. I want to know, as much as anybody, how the clues worked in a real-time environment. We went down the river and we took this creek and blah, because this clue fits this. I want to know that just like everybody wants to know it. But someone who said they knew when the finder was going to put out the story told me that he has the location. It's not necessarily the finder's location, but he knows the location, and then people put it out in a video and people follow it. And even in the midst of all the fallout with everybody making fun of it, the people doing the video go, well, it's just our opinion. I mean, in the end, well, it's just our opinion. I mean, if you don't want to watch, go, start your own YouTube channel. Confirmed location. No, there is no confirmed location. I swear to God, the next person on my page who says, well, Eric, the GPS location has been confirmed, I swear to God, I'm going to block you. I wouldn't really for that. I would only do it if it was really, you're just really trolling badly or something. But come on, folks. Listen to me. I'm like, all right. Part 2, we are coming up. We're going to get to the Barb Andersen latest court motion. Stuff dealing with reality. Stuff dealing with the Fenn estate. Stuff trying to find out who is the real finder, if there was one. Trying to find out if the chest was retrieved. I'm 50-50 on that right now. A searcher friend, he wrote me after my last videos about me saying that I believe there was a finder, and he was upset because previous to that I'd been saying I think it was retrieved by Fenn, and when he heard me say I believe there's a finder, he wrote me and he said, "You've gone over to the dark side." Well, now I'm about 50-50. I'm just going to set it right there. And part 2 coming up. Remember, if it's not showing up in your auto rotation, all parts of this video would be published today or tomorrow. They're always published at the same time. And so if part 2 doesn't come up, then you're going to want to go search for it on Google. It's out there somewhere. Part 2 coming up.